NASA unveiled pictures from a new space telescope capturing the deepest images of the universe anyone has ever seen.
The world fell into a hush the moment NASA's live feed went dark. Screens around the globe froze on static, as if the universe itself had drawn a breath and held it, waiting. For a brief moment, thousands of amateur astronomers and professional researchers alike stared in disbelief. The cosmic messenger known as New Oumuamua, an interstellar traveler detected just hours earlier, was supposed to be under the unblinking gaze of every available telescope. Instead, cameras pivoted away, channels disconnected, and in that blink, humanity lost its sightline to perhaps the most significant celestial event in decades. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. In the aftermath of the blackout, the corridors of scientific power buzzed with frantic questions. How had this object, hurtling through space at mind-boggling speeds, managed to slip from our view? Why had NASA, of all organizations, severed its own feed when transparency was their guiding principle? More unsettling still was the warning issued shortly after by Brian Cox, the renowned physicist and communicator whose calm gravitas had become a touchstone for truth in an age of disinformation. He spoke not with the usual measured optimism, but with an urgency that sent shivers through even his most optimistic followers. Cox's warning, delivered in a quiet studio lit only by the glow of his console, painted a scenario far darker than any had dared imagine. He implied that what we were witnessing might challenge the very fundamentals of physics and our understanding of celestial mechanics. A ripple in space, he suggested, was no longer mere metaphor. If New Oumuamua's trajectory could shift without any apparent force, the implications for spacecraft navigation, planetary defense, and the safe operation of satellites were staggering. Imagine, he said, if unseen energies bent paths in the vacuum, if space itself proved to be a dynamic medium more treacherous than we had ever conceived. Scientists scrambled to reroute alternative feeds, tapping into observatories in Chile, South Africa, Hawaii. Yet each link yielded the same outcome. Data streams cut, command uplinks silent. A hush settled over mission control, normally a hive of coordinated activity. Analysts pored over the last frames before outage, noting anomalies in the object's glow, its slight acceleration, the way it seemed to shimmer against the backdrop of stars as if cloaked in some undetectable field. Then, nothing. The blind spot in our surveillance hardware stretched wider with each passing minute. Outside the sterile confines of research labs, a different kind of worry took hold. Amateur skywatchers, once content to capture fleeting meteors or catch glimpses of distant galaxies, now felt the thrill of discovery twist into unease. Discussion threads on message boards glowed with excitement and alarm in equal measure. Was this new object a rogue fragment of a distant world, or something engineered? Could it be a probe sent by unknown intelligence, or a natural phenomenon far stranger than any comet or asteroid cataloged before? Questions piled up faster than answers. Governments quietly mobilized. Satellite operators examined contingency protocols. Defense organizations, wary of untracked objects, dusted off classified contingency plans. Meanwhile, planetary scientists debated in hushed tones over secure channels whether a novel form of propulsion was at work. If so, the technology could spell both opportunity and peril. Imagine harnessing such power for interplanetary travel, yet also imagine it turned to destructive ends. A new arms race, this time across the void, seemed suddenly possible. Brian Cox's voice remained calm but urgent in follow-up interviews. He emphasized that science thrives on questions but not on silence. Cutting the feed, he argued, risked fueling conspiracy and fear. More damaging, it deprived the world of vital data to understand whether this interstellar visitor obeyed the known laws of motion. Every second the cameras were offline meant another piece of the puzzle washed away in the cosmic tide. His words resonated because Joe Public trusted him. He did not traffic in alarmism, but neither did he sugarcoat potential danger. Back in the media center, journalists grappled with how to cover an event shrouded in mystery and error. Headlines ranged from cautiously optimistic to downright apocalyptic. Cable news channels ran looping discussions, panels of experts dissecting grainy footage, none of which provided clarity. Social media echoed with amateur theorists, some invoking exotic physics, others leaping straight to X-Files territory. The line between serious inquiry and sensationalism blurred, threatening to eclipse sober analysis entirely. As night fell in the United States, the world's telescopes on the opposite side of the globe rose to prominence. A telescope array in Australia managed a brief link, capturing a glimpse of New Oumuamua as a faint, elongated smudge. Its behavior defied expectations. Slight rhythmic pulsing suggested rotation, yet the pulsing varied in phase and intensity in ways that standard models could not explain. Leading experts began to whisper about possible anisotropic outgassing typical of comets but without any visible tail. A phantom push, not unlike that experienced by the original Oumuamua in 2017, hinted at forces beyond visible detection. In London, Brian Cox convened a virtual summit of top astrophysicists and planetary scientists. The session, intended for internal planning, was accidentally leaked, offering the public a fleeting window into the scientific process. Heated debate erupted. Some urged a bold mission to intercept the object, sending a small probe to sample its composition. Others warned that diverting resources could jeopardize other critical missions. Risk assessments considered everything from radiation exposure in deep space to the potential for contamination of both the probe and Earth's biosphere if the object harbored unknown biological agents. Meanwhile, NASA administrators faced difficult choices. Restoring the live feed meant diagnosing a complex network issue in near real time, a task made more urgent by fears of external interference. Rumors swirled that competing powers had attempted to compromise the data link, seeking to withhold or reshape information to their own ends. In the age of cyber warfare, control over celestial data streams had become as strategic as any missile launch. Safeguards that once seemed excessive now felt like necessities. Amid the geopolitical tension, scientists kept probing the data. A team in South America noticed that the object's spectral signature included unexpected emission lines in the ultraviolet, a possible sign of exotic materials or processes. They cross-checked observations with space-based telescopes, only to encounter the same interruptions. Each time a satellite dialed into New Oumuamua, logs showed rapid error codes before silence. A deep space relay link refused to transmit. Attributing the blackout to solar flares or hardware failure grew increasingly difficult in the face of repeated targeted disruptions. Theories multiplied. Some posited that the object generated its own electromagnetic field, jamming frequencies and even bending light around it. Others suggested active cloaking technology, long the subject of science fiction. If true, the implications were staggering. Humanity's decades of triumph in remote sensing, from mapping distant galaxies to pinpointing near-Earth asteroids, could prove inadequate against a traveler capable of turning invisible to our instruments. Our window on the universe might be narrower than we believed. Over in Cairo, a ground station briefly re-established contact. For a fleeting minute, clear data streamed in. High-resolution images, spectral readings, and trajectory plots. Analysts celebrated, but the window abruptly closed. The station recorded a spike in radiation levels at the moment of loss, hinting at an energetic event. Was New Oumuamua discharging particles into space? Or was the surge a byproduct of local solar activity? Disentangling cause and effect would require more sustained observation, and for that, the feed needed to stay alive. Throughout this maelstrom, Brian Cox's warning echoed like a somber bell. Accepting uncertainty, he insisted, was part of the scientific journey, but so was relentless pursuit of knowledge. His message struck a chord, that while the cosmos might harbor forces both wondrous and terrifying, retreating into silence served no one. The impulse to hide from the unknown risked leaving us vulnerable, unprepared for the challenges that interstellar visitors could pose. At the European Space Agency, mission planners hastily drafted contingency proposals. Could an existing probe be retasked? The idea of diverting juice, bound for Jupiter's icy moons, or sending a swift CubeSat hitching a ride on Artemis missions, took shape. Felicitations were exchanged across agencies as engineers mulled propulsion adjustments, launch windows, and funding hurdles. Yet the clock ticked relentlessly. New Oumuamua would soon slip beyond reach, accelerating out of the solar system on its own mysterious power. In Tokyo, a consortium of universities connected hundreds of small radio dishes in a makeshift array, hoping sheer processing power might break through the interference. They aimed not only to track the object, but to listen to detect any anomalous signals that might hint at artificial origin. As data flowed in, pattern recognition algorithms ran continuously, searching for non-random modulations. For now, the results remained inconclusive, but the effort marked a new era of distributed, crowd-sourced deep space observation. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us? What are your thoughts on Brian Cox's warning about Oumuamua? What happens next? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.